Hey folks, welcome back to the Livewrite. Haven't gotten to do this in I think I only missed 1 week. Actually, now that I think about it, I think the only week I missed was last week because of the storm. So power was out for about a week, and then took a few extra days to get the internet back up and running. This kind of thing happens. We had a hurricane with 100-mile-an-hour winds, so trees got knocked over. We had a 50-foot pine fall on our lines, and that included the internet. All the utility lines run on the same pole. The Comcast cables are still like on my lawn because they won't come and pick them up and put them back on. That's how it is sometimes, you know. Make sure the stream is healthy. Everything's good. All right. Let's take a look at our piece here. Actually, I wanted to show you something kind of interesting. This is a screenplay I wrote with my brother-in-law about 10 years ago. This is kind of fun. So, this is one called Babel. This is Final Draft. This is an old version of Final Draft, I think. Interface looks so like 2012. But that's fine. Like this totally reminds me of like Windows XP or maybe Vista. I have a little bit of nostalgia for Windows Vista, which is true. Little bit of nostalgia for it. So, I'm not expecting a ton of people to hang out with me today because this is one of those things about streaming. Like, people are like, I want to be a streamer. Yeah, if you miss like 1 week, it destroys your business. You could hear like some serious streamers be like, yeah, I had to miss a week because I had surgery or something. And then at the end of that week, when they came back, like their audience had dropped by 75%. And you had to spend months trying to get back to where you were. It's just how it goes sometimes, you know? That's how it goes. Anyway, yeah, I wrote this. It's a weird 70s style. It reminds me of like 1970s sci-fi. Very cool. Like it's a really good story, and I can remember like all the visuals I had in my mind when we wrote the movie. And I don't know. It's like a movie that exists only in my head. I wonder what I could do with it. I wonder if there's anything I could do with it. But I don't know. Any advice on how to grow YouTube? So, not really. Not great advice. Problem with YouTube is that like things are always changing on YouTube. So growth strategies that worked five years ago may not work today. Growth strategies that worked last year may not work. You may do them correctly and there's an element of randomness to it, so it may not work. Or you may do something completely different and then have mega success. There's a lot of randomness to YouTube, so you kind of have to be okay with that. When you're getting into doing YouTube or trying to build a YouTube audience. The general stuff is probably okay, which is you need to be like uploading regularly. Try to do a video a week. Especially now, everything is about habituation. If you can habituate a user to looking at your content, then that goes a long way. So that means you have to have content coming out all the time. The problem with that is that it's very difficult to come out with content all the time that's original, unique, interesting, viral, blah, blah, blah. It takes a lot of time to do that. Then if you're looking at shorts as an example, shorts in terms of a growth strategy, it's really uncertain how well they do. I've been experimenting with them this year using Opus AI, which is an AI tool that will just automatically generate clips of like my live streams or my longer videos, and then it'll put them up. And that's really helpful, I think, because it just takes some of that effort out. It gets rid of some of the effort involved in this entire thing, right? It takes some of the time out. So if you're able to save time, then that means that you could focus more on the stuff that's really good and that you really want to do. The other problem with shorts is really that the other problem with shorts is that they don't, how should I put this? People that are watching shorts kind of like TikTok, they're just seeing an endless stream of short videos. You have to make the short very actionable to make the person want to click on a related video that's longer. So it's possible to drive traffic to longer videos using shorts, but it's really difficult. And the truth is, you're probably never going to make money doing shorts, even if you do really, really well at them, because you're going to make, I doubled my views 1 month with shorts. My revenue fell by like, not a whole lot, but like 10, 15%. Why? Well, I wasn't making the longer videos that are usually better money makers. We're not talking about a ton of money at this point, because my channel's very much on like the decline as far as what YouTube recommends and what people want to see and what the audience is interested. The audience I've cultivated is interested in seeing from me. They don't get presented a lot of my videos anymore, and people don't click on them, right? So they're not, in general, although there's like 46 or 50,000 subscribers or something, only a tiny, tiny portion of them are really interested in what I'm doing right now, or even seeing anything that I have to say. They've just forgotten I exist. I'm somewhere over in that subscription pane, and they just don't think about me at all anymore. And that's just how it is, right? So that's another problem with YouTube, is that the variable nature of YouTube is such that you can have a really huge month and then have nothing the next month. So it's really bad for making a career. And then it's really hard to grow. Like what's a growth strategy? Well, the only growth strategy that will always work is one that you can't consistently execute, which is make viral videos. Just make viral videos. The hard part of that is that that's really unpredictable. You can try to make things like other things, or have a framework for what makes things interesting or viral, but that doesn't mean that people are going to click it and watch it, or YouTube is going to show it to people. YouTube may, the algorithm may just decide no one gets to see your video, no matter how hard you worked on it, no matter how high quality it is. So you're going to hear like a lot of conflicting pieces of advice when you ask even bigger YouTubers like how to grow a YouTube audience, because they may say, upload really consistently. And other people say, no, that doesn't matter at all. And they could both be right. And they could say, it's better to have lots of content that comes out. And the other person will say, no, it's better to have only one video and make it as good as possible, make it extra viral. And they can both be right. Because different channels require different approaches and different strategies. So it really depends what you want to do on YouTube. I think this is such an interesting topic for anybody that's looking to do, for example, content marketing, which is what I talk about a lot. It's one of the few ways that you can market a book or a comic or a game or anything without spending ridiculous amounts of money for bad click-through rate, right? Like advertising really sucks right now. It's in a bad state. And it's been in a bad state, in my opinion, for quite a while. So let's just take an example. Like, let's say you want to make a gaming channel. Okay. You just go look at other popular gaming channels and you kind of see what they do. All right. So they'll do video essays on games with gaming footage. They'll do live streams of them playing games. They'll do reviews of games. Okay. Those are the three main kinds of gaming content you're going to see. And then you have to think about how can I do those and be entertaining and unique. So if you're thinking about essays about video games, those are great because you can write about older games that you're more experienced with. It's not about the new hottest game. Reviews, if you're going to do game reviews, it pretty much has to be a brand new game or no one cares about the review at all. So I do not recommend you start with trying to do video game reviews unless you are just have tons of time to play games and you're willing to sink thousands of dollars into buying brand new games just to review them on your channel, because you're never going to get a review copy until you get like thousands of subscribers. Like I can get free Steam keys for games, but like I just don't bother because I don't have time to play them. My time is really, really limited to what I can do. So I generally, if you're starting out, just don't do the reviews. Instead, just make videos about games that you love, right? And there's a couple ways that you can do that. So you can do video game essays, which is, I guess, what I mentioned. But the other one is stuff like how-tos. Like I still generate money and traffic by having videos on like Morrowind, right? Like how to make a Morrowind character. How, and I need to do more Morrowind content because I just like doing it. I think it's fun and a lot of people like to watch it. So, it's like 10 essential Morrowind items. I might do that one. Like 10 items, 10 amazing items you can get at level 1 in Morrowind. And just, use my knowledge plus, the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages to go make a tutorial for how to get 10 awesome items in Morrowind. And that would be a really good video to make. That will attract a lot of people, and then you're doing something that you're interested in. You're finding people that are also interested in what you're going to look at. And then the third thing would be just streaming games, right? That's just a way to interact with the audience. You virtually never grow your channel by streaming on YouTube. Rather, streaming is something that you do that is a way to interact with the audience and get feedback and do things like this where I can give advice or give my opinion on stuff. Just kind of build that audience relationship. If you're doing Twitch streaming, yeah, you can grow the audience by streaming, but I feel like the boat has sailed for most people. Like it's going to be really hard to be super successful streamer on Twitch. Now, what you can use is something that I'm using right now, which is called Restream.io. Okay, so Restream.io will let you stream to YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and whatever, as much as you want. So that's a really good option so that you can do both, right? I'm interacting with YouTube comments, but this is going out on Twitch at the same time, like Twitch Creative. So no one watches on Twitch. I get like 2 viewers on Twitch for a stream where there's like 100 viewers on YouTube. That's just how it is. And I don't know how many people are on YouTube right now. Probably like 8. It's not a lot. It's not a lot, right? So anyway, yeah, that's just an example if you want to make a gaming channel. You have to think about what your purpose is. If you're like, well, I want to make content that markets my books, you can do what I've done. You can look at like John De La Rosa's channel, which he just does like culture war stuff nonstop, plus like reviews of anything that he comes across. And you can attract a lot of eyes that way, and then you just always are plugging whatever project you're doing. And that's a way to grow your channel and also to monetize your other stuff, to get people to watch, to like look at your books and things like that, which is what you really want to sell. So that's a way that you could do it. To me, the reason I backed off from that is that it's just exhausting to do, and I just don't like talking about stuff that I hate. Because that's what I'm going to end up doing if I'm reviewing most popular media, is like I'm just always going to be talking about something I hate. And I made this point, I'm like, the Dune 2 sucks video will get 10 times as many views as a video where I said something is okay or something is good. And that was like the Dune 2 video got 5,000 views. And then like 2 days before I'd released the thing, maybe 1 day before, Ninja Kamui is okay. It got 500 views. No one cares about a lukewarm reaction or an actual analysis of something that's not like slamming it into the dirt. It just doesn't get shown on YouTube. So for me, like psychologically, spiritually, I can't spend my time watching crap that I already know I'm not going to like. I need to be doing things that bring me enough joy that I'm interested in the media on some level. So for me, that tends to be playing games and reading books. Like, those are the two kinds of media that I really love. I love to read books. I love to play video games. And so that's really what I would like to focus on in terms of related content for this channel. As far as like talking about other media, it's that. And if I'm doing that, chances are I'm not going to make a big negative review of a game. I've only made one negative video on a game, and I think it was Breath of the Wild, where I basically said I'm not going to, like, this game has major problems. It's not a terrible game, but I can't believe people actually like this. I guess they've never really played an open world game, you know? That's the only negative, really. I know I've made negative WoW content. I should take that back, right? I made one like why WoW's writing sucks. The worst design decisions of WoW. Those negative opinions get a lot more views. But anyway, that's probably what I would prefer to focus on, like, going forward, and not talking as much about movies. It's a lot easier to make a movie review because it's only 2 hours of your time. You watch the movie and then you shoot a review or you write an article or something, so it's less time versus watching TV. Like, forget about it. I can't do a series review of anything, and I care too much about the time of my life, which, you know, like the sand in an hourglass is running out, right? To watch TV shows. They're just too boring. I just can't do it. I just can't watch boring TV. 1 hour dramas are the most boring thing I can think of right now. And I think about that, right? Like, technically Game of Thrones TV show should be less time than reading the books. But it doesn't feel that way when I read a book. It doesn't feel as boring because the speed varies. Whereas Game of Thrones as a TV show is very boring to me. I've watched a couple episodes and it just was very slow moving, and I didn't find any of it interesting. I say that having read the book, right? I read the first book and some of the second, but really when I got to the end of the first book, it's like, okay, I'm just done. I don't think it was a bad book, but I'm done with it. So anyway, like, let's say you want to grow YouTube, right? You do entertainment essays. So just focus on that. Focus on the entertainment essays. Talk about that. And just try to stay focused on that. Try to do one a week. And eventually you'll build an audience if you're able to do it. And when you are doing it, try to focus on what you can do that's unique rather than copying someone else, right? Like, when I think about what I do that's unique, I don't script anything. I've never used scripts. I've always just delivered things raw on the spot. Sometimes I use notes to organize things when I'm like, I really want to make sure I talk about these points. I'll write a couple of notes down. But I never have used a script in a video unless I am reading an essay that I wrote. Like, so I've done some where, like, I've written an essay on my blog and then I'm just reading it into YouTube. That's the only time I've scripted anything. I've never had a script running where I'm like reading a script or anything like that. I don't do a lot of video prep. And I like that because that feels more natural, feels more like I'm lecturing to a classroom, rather than making some kind of big production out of it, which I don't really have time to do anyway. There's always funny, someone's like, you had time to edit this. It's like, I didn't edit this. I turned on the camera and talked for 20 minutes. You know, I have the capacity to do that. My unique perspective as an artist, as a writer, as a musician, as a former college instructor, teacher, right? Those are, you know, what's unique about it. And then when you stream things that are related. YouTube is interesting to think about as a novel product that became rapidly oversaturated. Yeah, that's the other thing about YouTube is, like, how do you stand out from the crowd? It's really hard. It's still one of the few places where you can build organic traffic without paying for it. The other one would be Twitter. But Twitter, it's really hard to turn that audience into. It's hard to monetize Twitter. Whereas YouTube, it's a little easier. So yeah, the problem with YouTube is, like, things change a lot of the times. You don't know what's going to be hot. You don't know when the robot is going to just turn off your traffic, just stop recommending videos to people. It may decide it doesn't like videos that are 20 minutes. It may decide it doesn't like you. It doesn't like your videos. You made a video about politics and then it just turned off your traffic. That's probably what happened to me. Is I wasn't thinking like a business person for YouTube, and so I ran my mouth about things that I shouldn't have and got videos banned and probably got my channel shadow banned forever because I exercised my speech. So if you're going to do YouTube as a business, and I've thought about this a lot, I know that this is the fantasy Livewrite stream and I'm not writing any books right now, but I feel like this is important to talk about. Somebody asked this question, and I want you to have as much information to think about this as possible. If I'm starting over again at square one, and maybe I need to start over again at square one, maybe that's something I need to do. I would have a totally different approach to YouTube than I had. I viewed YouTube as a fun product to play with. Right? I wanted to upload music instruction videos to preserve some of my knowledge because I was planning on quitting the music industry, which I did. And then it was like, well, I enjoy making these videos and talking to people on YouTube, interacting with the comments. After a while, you get tired of that. You get tired of the arguments. Those start to become more like work and less like play. And then, like, what do you do after that? Yeah, I would have a totally different approach where I would think, okay, I'm going to make a channel about this thing that I care about. Games, let's say. And maybe I'll do that. And all the content would just be that. It'd be focused in that area. And I would try to pick an area that is broad enough to attract potentially a wide audience, but can have narrow enough focus that those videos will get shown to a really highly targeted demographic, at least initially. So you have some wide stuff and some narrow stuff. Let's say I'm going to make a gaming channel, because maybe I'll do this, right? What am I going to start with? Well, I'm going to start with Morrowind videos. Why? Because there's a there's a small but very interested demographic that enjoys the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind and content about it. There's always new things to find. And I just come up with a list of like 10 videos to make about Morrowind to seed the channel and get people started. While I was making those, then I would think about, okay, what are some really wide things that I can talk about? And I go, look, what's the most popular game right now? Is it Minecraft? Well, what's something funny I can do with Minecraft? Can I do like a Morrowind Minecraft? Let's check out the Skyrim edition of Minecraft, and let's play around with that because it's somewhat related. And try to do something funny with Minecraft. Try to do something funny with PUBG or Fortnite or something like that. So try to do some kind of interesting content with that, because that'll attract a lot of people. So you kind of got to think like what is going to be really targeted, and then probably have some wide stuff as well. And my channel now has that. It has really wide stuff and it has a really super targeted stuff. Like the publishing videos, I get so many comments on the publishing videos like, thank you for making this video. Like, no one tells me this stuff. And it's like, that's why I made the video, is to help you out. But there's so few people that really need that help or are looking for it, compared to people who are interested in like, how do you level in Oblivion? What's the best items in Oblivion, right? That's the stuff that a lot of people are interested in. That very few people are interested in like, what's the precise way that I format a paperback in Microsoft Word to publish it on this publishing platform? Do you know what I mean? And it's very different. Hardwick asked, do you use any sort of filtering or noise cancellation on your microphone? I do not. I don't use anything on it. It's just my mic. You can use that kind of stuff depending on how noisy your environment is. Mine's a little noisy. Like you might hear the kids play or the dogs bark or something, but I've never really cared for this kind of stuff because it just doesn't matter. For like live streams, like people don't get upset that they can hear the dog barking. It just gives people something. In fact, it's perfect because people will comment about the dog barking or something. So that means that there's an interesting thing that happened on the stream that they can interact with and that they think is funny. It's like my dog going nuts because somebody rode a bicycle past the window. My dog hates bicycles. I don't know what it is. Someone rides a bicycle, this dog goes nuts. She will bark until she starts to like cough and like barf from her own coughing. She just hates bicycles. So that kind of funny stuff happens on stream. The cat jumps on me, right? Like, for me, live streaming, I don't worry about the noise. When I'm recording a video, what I'll usually do is just record when it's quiet. So that's usually nighttime. After the kids go to sleep, I'll record a video where I can, just have the ambient noise a little bit less. For YouTube stuff, you don't need to worry too much about tons of ambient noise unless you're in a really noisy environment. And that's just because people aren't listening to the videos with a threshold where that noise is going to matter. As long as the signal to noise ratio is good, like your voice is much louder than the noise, you're probably going to be fine. And if it's still a really noisy environment, you can always get like an SM58 mic, a dynamic mic, and just have it very close to your face and it'll sound okay. Now, for me, I usually have my microphone. You can kind of see it in the corner here. It's about a foot away from my face. That's where I feel like it sounds natural. And rather than exactly in front of my face, it's very slightly to the side. That produces a really natural sound to the human voice. A lot of people will get a mic like this, a nice cardioid mic, and then they'll talk like this. They'll put it really close. And it doesn't sound natural to me. So, and then this is a visual medium, and I don't like that for a visual medium. I don't like something covering up the face, right? I want the face to be visible because it's a YouTube, right? So I don't use that stuff, but anyway, that's my just general tips on stuff. You can use, like, some programs will have noise canceling. You can use a noise gate. So I think OBS has a noise gate on it. I haven't really used it. Now, what a noise gate does is anything below a certain threshold, it just takes it to 0. So when you don't talk and you have like just fan noise, like I have a ceiling fan, I have a computer, like it'll take that to 0. I don't love noise gates. Now, I'm forced to use noise gates for some audiobooks because of Audible's weird file requirements if you're going through ACX. Because they just use a formula that calculates like signal to noise, abstract of anything else. I think noise gates on voice sound really bad because you can hear it. To me, maybe other people can't hear it. I can hear the noise gate turning on all the time. And I can hear it when other people have it on their audiobooks. I'm like, oh, it drives me crazy, that noise gate. But that's an option you can use. And so that will, if you have like a really noisy fan or like something like that, you could turn that on, and anytime you're not talking, it'll just cut the sound out. I started a channel for my dirt bike stuff, and it is extremely volatile. Best vids get 1,000 plus, ones I think are better get 250. There's a limited strategy, grabbing at straws. Yeah, you could do your best, try the clickbait title, frame things as a question, right? Use interesting words, but then it may still come to nothing, I think my best viewed short, I have a YouTube short that has like thousands and thousands of views. That's just like Conan's hair is actually blue. I think YouTube suffers a similar effect on inflation, median voter dilemma. Videos that have real value are crushed by the volume of the median video, which is now crappy short form junk food. Algo father. Oh, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. So what you kind of hope to do is build a channel so people can see better stuff, or you can try to come out with just a few videos that are really high quality and super interesting. Like there's a dude who did that Boogie 2998 documentary, right? He doesn't have to make a ton of videos because he's getting to do a documentary on an already very popular online personality. Are you going to make your Godzilla -1 review anytime soon? Yes, I couldn't because the power went down. I'd hoped you release it at the same time as your Dune Part 2 review. Yeah, I couldn't though because we just ran out of time. We had to prepare for the hurricane, and that's just what happened. The power's down for a week. Thanks for the Oblivion intro to efficient leveling. See, it's a good video. I'm just gonna make more Morrowind and Oblivion videos, I think. I have some review videos. I need to do a review of the Minions movie. I didn't get to do it before the hurricane, but oh well. What's the most expensive guitar you have? What's your favorite brand? So that's an interesting question. I don't know off the top of my head, like what's the most expensive, and even whether you'd be able to get it. So like my David Schramm, my classical guitar, I'm not sure what he even charges now. But I got it. I mean, it's like I got a deal on it. I don't remember how much I paid. Maybe $2,500 or $3,000. It's usually like a $8,000-$10,000 guitar, right? It's a handmade classical guitar. Those are expensive. If you're talking factory-made guitars, probably this one, Parker Fly. I don't know if this is the most expensive. Again, I get these things on trades a lot of times, and you can't get a new one anyway. You know, they don't make these anymore. So this is a 97 Parker Fly. You can get these anywhere between about $2,500 on the low end, if they're kind of beat up and not in great shape, up to like $20,000, depending on what's special about it. I saw one that had like snakeskin, like made into the top, and that one was like $20,000 or something, $12,000. I don't remember. Just sort of depends on what you wanted to do with it. Parker Flies, these are amazing guitars. These are definitely the Ferrari of guitars if you're looking at electric guitars. There's, I don't need to talk about every feature. There's tons of videos on like why the Parker Fly is awesome. But it has really great DiMarzio pickups. I like the ones from the 90s. They switched to Seymour Duncan in the 2000s after I think Ken Parker sold the company. But these ones are great. They're amazing. They're exactly the kinds of DiMarzios that I use in my other, or very, very close in my other guitars. They're great. It has a piezo pickup built into the bridge to get that acoustic sound. It has a great tremolo. This tremolo is just awesome. You can also lock the trem down using a little thing on the back here. And so if you want it locked in place, you can lock it in place or unlock it. And then you can adjust the tension on the strings with this. So if you're doing an alternate tuning, you can just, like let's say you want to, drop it a half step. You can, rather than having to get a screwdriver out, and now you just do this little dial. Just dial it down to a half step. Boom. Everything is perfect. It's really great. You can blend all that stuff. There's stereo output and a little stereo switch. It's just an amazing instrument. Like very space age, light years ahead of the competition. Really the peak of guitar design. And it came out, I think, in 1993. Maybe earlier. Maybe a little earlier, 1991. So, there's still nothing as... And if you can get one, there's also ones that come with a MIDI pickup. So if you get one of those, you have basically the most technologically advanced guitar ever made, and it's 40 years old. But that's the way it is, right? It's a really special instrument. So if you're looking for electric guitars, Parker Fly is definitely going to be at the top of the list. If you can't get your hands on a Parker Fly, you want some of the same features. The Music Man Majesty is going to be the closest thing. Those are awesome. Now I have a Music Man JP6 from like 2005 or so. It's a great guitar as well. You've probably seen me play it on the channel. It's like, it has this purple green finish. That's pretty cool. That's also a really great guitar to get your hands on, if you can get your hands on, because it has a MIDI pickup. Same idea. Stereo output. Has all the features, but it's not as good as a Parker Fly. The Parker Fly doesn't have a bolt-on neck. It has no neck joint. The neck just like flows into the body. It's really beautiful and brilliant. Great guitar. So for electric guitars, it's probably the Parker Fly. I really love my Fender Meteora. I just got that this year. As far as Fender guitars, that's like my perfect Fender. It feels amazing. Great tone. All the tones that I would want. That kind of stuff. So yeah, those are the ones. Because it's hard to say, like, what's the most expensive? It's going to be one of my handmade guitars because they're just way more to them. A David Schramm, I don't know how much David Schramm charges for his guitars now, or if he's retired yet or what. I know he made one for Sammy Hagar a while back. And that was kind of cool. He was excited about that because he's a fan of Sammy Hagar. So, yeah. What's the most? Yes, okay. What amount of gain is it advisable to set one microphone at if you're 1.5 feet away? I have a Behringer Bigfoot, which is near exact clone of the Blue Yeti. So here's how I do it. I'll just show it to you. It'll actually be kind of easier to show it. Like we're gonna stare into the abyss here a little bit. But if you look down here, you're gonna see this. This is not a perfect thing here, but what you want your voice to be is when you talk, you want it to be in the yellow. Let's say I peaked it a little bit. In the yellow, getting into the red. So you want your voice to be in here. So you just set your gain until when you talk normally, when you talk at the volume you're going to record your videos at, you're in this range. If you're red, that's peaking the mic. Sometimes that happens when I'm talking live. I try to avoid it. And that's where you want it to be. Now for me, I'm in a noisy room. I have a bunch of fans blowing because it's hot. You can see there's a lot of ambient noise. -40 noise floor is really high. You really want your noise floor to be like a lot lower than that. But anyway, there's no setting. You just set it to where it is. And if it's really noisy, you can always move closer and turn the gain down a bit. Just move closer and turn it down. And you're probably fine. So, yeah. Anyway, you want to set that gain on your interface or on your microphone if it has a volume dial before you do anything on your computer, because you can peak the mic and then if I'm peaking the mic but I turn it down, it's still going to be very distorted. So you don't want that distortion. Try to get it in that little yellow frame and you'll be good. Yeah, to the gain control, just turn it up until you're in the yellow. I only have a cheap $200 guitar. You can do a whole hell of a lot with the $200 guitar. Charlie Parker recorded albums on a plastic saxophone because he hawked his good one for heroin. So you could totally do a lot with it, especially if you have it set up well. I have cheaper guitars that are set up really good. A lot of times, good guitars, like I had to do a lot of work on my Parker. I got a deal on it, but it came. The parts that I needed to be in good shape are in very good shape on it. But like I had to get a new bridge spring and stuff, which has a specialized flat spring. I had to fabricate a tremolo arm for it. That's why I was able to get a deal on it. It still doesn't have a back plate. I still need to fabricate a back plate for it. Right now it's got a piece of cardboard. It's got a shielded piece of cardboard as the back plate. It works, right? The shielded cardboard works for now until I can fabricate something out of plastic or even copper. So I can make a... Actually, it might be easier to get some like thin copper sheeting and just fabricate it out of copper. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. Just the copper would add a lot of weight, and the Parker Fly is super light. It's a really light guitar. Yeah, that's a really good one. But I have good guitars. I got lots of good stuff, so I'm happy with it. Handmade guitars are generally going to be the most expensive thing. All right, let's pull this book up. I had that screenplay. I've got to figure out what to do with that old screenplay. It's like I really like the story, but I don't know what to do with it. I can't make a movie because I don't have the budget or the time to make a movie. It's hard to know. Like, you do work on something, and I'm really like excited. Like, I think the story's really cool. I have a strong visual connection to it in my mind, but I can't quite work out what I want to do with it. It's kind of a sad place to be in, let's do a little planning here. So I got to bridge a little bit of a gap here because of where I want to take this story. Is that we had one adventure that kind of works on each of the characters and their flaws so far. Okay, we kind of need a couple of more to bridge this gap. So at the beginning of this chapter, we need to bury our knight. That's important. Like I haven't looked at this in a couple weeks because you know how things go. You get busy. Yeah, it's best to get it in the yellow with the knob. You want to do all your adjustments on hardware if possible, and then have it just max on the computer, full volume. It's generally what you want. I mean, you can make adjustments in software later. Like my interface, I run an interface. If I'm peaking the mic, it'll actually turn red. There's a little red light bulb. It'll like get red. So anyway. Yeah, I'm not sure what we want to do for the next adventure. I really want to get one where basically we want Adel ready to get money. We want Alfred and Victoria to matriculate a romance for real. And then we want, we basically also want Alfred to find his father's sword. So that's something that we'll have. Which is basically the symbol of the kingdom. And is he going to give up his kingdom to get his father back and save his mother? And that's going to be the trades that they have to make at the end with the witch. So to do those two kind of things, we're gonna have to plan them a little bit. This is kind of a gap in the original plan. Normally I'd have all this worked out a little bit more ahead of time, but I'm doing it all live, so I'm not actually thinking about any of this stuff ahead of time. This is the point of what we're doing here. So we need for he has to get some sort of treasure. So they're going to find a real treasure. And then we need, so both of those things need to happen. So we really have to do kind of two more chapters here, which would be maybe chapter 12 here and chapter 13. And then the last few chapters are going to be kind of moving to the resolution that we've figured out for this. Let me think about how I want to do this. I'm actually going to get a little bit more to drink here. I've been streaming for 40 minutes. I haven't written anything, but we'll do some planning. I haven't thought about this in a long time, so I kind of have to get back into it and think about it a little bit. I'll do another writing stream this week. I'm going to try to get Brian Niemeyer on the show on Wednesday. So everybody can look forward to Brian Niemeyer on the show on Wednesday. If I can get him on, then he can talk about his new book. He's got a new fantasy book out, so that'll be pretty fun, I think. So anyway, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to get a little bit more to drink. I like that I walked away and there's an ad playing on a video. All right. I thought of one more thing that I wanted here, which was shoot, I lost my window. Here it is. Yeah, I wanted to have this little interlude where they run into basically kind of a weird cult in the mountains. And so I think I'm going to combine that with this like matriculation of romance, because it's going to be a very dangerous situation for them. As we're getting further away from the kingdom, things are getting weirder. So this one is going to be about these cultists. So we're going to plan this one real quick, because things are going to keep getting a lot weirder as we go. Prophesized. I guess that's how you spell it. this is our weird little adventure. This is going to work on the romance a little bit here. Okay. It's not really going to get Alfred his money, though we could put that in there. That there's some money that he wants to get. And I might make this as a sort of a B story here. It's like Alfred sees their huge cash treasure and wants to steal it. That'll be a funny thing. A little bit of an irony is that all of his golden jewels are going to spill out of his pants. That's going to be a funny thing for me. Okay, so things are getting weirder, right? We're getting sort of a descent into madness. We've seen the Mad Knight. We saw the people believing in like human sacrifice for, for the instead of having human sacrifice, I'm gonna have. People really like this piece for some reason. It's called Tomorrow. So I'm gonna link Patreon. I'm gonna have King Leper Part 3 will be up later tonight. It was done long ago, but I forgot to upload it, and then the storm happened, and it was impossible to upload things to the internet. So that's why there's a delay on this month's book. But I'm leaving the last couple months up, so technically, if you join Patreon, you'll get all three King Leper books well before release, the pre-release versions. So you want to read those. All right, got a little plan here before we get to our final bits of this. I have something I'm going to copy and paste into this actually. Yeah, see here's the King Leper Book 3. I'm actually going to steal something out of this. Another
Mom
ad.
knows how quality care can bring out a smile. But it's been a few dog years since she was able to enjoy a smile of her own. Good thing Aspen Dental offers affordable, complete...
about an hour and a half. All right. Gotta get at least 1,000 words in. If you can do 1,000 words every day, you're gonna be really good. You're gonna be able to finish your books. Try to do 1,000 a day. And that's easy to do 2,000. And that's easy to do 3,000. If I had written this entire time, I would have written like 3,000 words every day at least. Apparently I'm not streaming on X. You have to have a verified X premium subscription. Do I not have that? Or do I just have a verified subscription? No one watches on Twitter anyway. Oh, so it is working on X. Okay, yeah. I have a big, like, red warning sign on it. But if it's working, I guess that's cool. Thanks for watching. Most of my views are on YouTube. It's just the way it works. Alright, let's keep going. have to have raccoons. 1,600 words, and I spent the first half of this just like talking to people, so it's all good. Get back in the swing. We'll write some more, another time. Get to this whole little sequence we've planned, and then we can get to the final act. The final act, which is going to be fun. It's going to be fun to write that, and it's going to be interesting. And we're at about 40,000 words for this book, so that's a good number. And that'll mean that with this one, and maybe the final, we'll get to maybe 60, 65,000, which is right where we want to be for this book. That'll make it, about as long as one of these books we have here. 65,000 word books, 60, 65,000. Moonsong 3 and Al Shafalda. Al Shafalda's a little shorter. It's only 240 pages. No, it's only 210 pages, maybe. This was 240. It's a little longer. It's a good length for a book, I think. That's like a Michael Moorcock length book. And I like the length of his novels quite a bit, so it should be good. Alright guys, I think that's it for today. I'll see you all next time. I'm going to link the Patreon one more time, as well as Ko-Fi. Books will be up today at some point. And if you're on the Discord, then I'll link them there too. Alright, and Substack. I got to publish some more Substack articles. I did some writing while the power was out, so maybe I'll have some stuff to post there as well. We'll see. All right, folks, that's it. I hope you guys will have a great day, great rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.